Hi everybody, I'm Gloria Moraga. This is the Political Woman Podcast. Thank you for being here. How y'all doing? You finished your shopping yet? No, I have not. Happy Hanukkah, by the way. Doing a political wrap tonight. Just thought I would go through some stories that we should all think about, care about a little bit more than we do. I know it's the holidays and who cares, but I do. You know, we don't have a budget yet. Talk about money and spending for Christmas. This is the budget that we should have passed at the end of September for the beginning of the new fiscal year. And Mike Johnson, that speaker who is not a good speaker, who can't seem to manage anything, keeps postponing and passing little supplementals and continuing resolutions. And now there's another delay. Now, the latest deadline supposed to be this Friday, and I'm looking at the calendar here, December 20th at midnight. That was the drop-dead deadline for the new budget. And we're not going to drop dead, but it doesn't look at this point like we're going to have a budget. They're going to do it again. They're going to stall. And, Republicans have wanted to do this anyway so that they can stall until Trump is here and we have a new president and new Congress. So we shall see. But let me tell you what is stalling the budget process. One is disaster relief for a lot of people that were hit by the hurricanes and such. But that's not all. And this is what really shocked me. And I don't know, you can ask yourself as well, what the hell is going on? I'm going to just quote, negotiations continued Monday on a potential $10 billion to $12 billion economic aid package for farmers. And the scope of disaster assistance in a new funding bill. New funding bill. I'll read on. Congress has until the end of Friday to get a package through Congress or whisk. I'll read on. Congress has until the end of Friday to get a package through Congress or risk a potential government shutdown. As part of that package, Congress also needs to pass another 1-year extension of the Farm Bill. Financial aid for farmers became a major sticking point over the weekend. This is how mismanaged they are. As lawmakers from both parties said they would not support a new funding bill, that continuing resolution that keeps the government going, without including some economic support for farmers. Wait for it. For farmers facing low prices. Then I went on to numerous sites, farm sites, newsletters and just sites that just produce information, political information and other information for farmers, like the Farm Bureau and others. And yes, there is a farm crisis right now in the United States because farmers are dealing with high costs of running their farms, just like the rest of us have to deal with all these high costs, but also dealing with low prices. Back to the Congress, I'll just finish this up. There's no specific deals yet, but there are 4 key lawmakers, 2 from the House, 2 from the Senate, 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans. So total of 4 people are working on negotiating some sort of a workaround for the Farm Bill for farmers. And this is one of the other stories that I'm going to do a longer version of. And I'm toying with the idea of getting somebody to interview on this from the Farm Bureau or someplace like that. Because where the hell are the high grocery prices coming from if farmers aren't making enough money for their eggs, their dairy products? You know how high eggs have gone up and how, I mean, just everything. And then you heard Trump in his interview with Time magazine, I believe, which I actually canceled my Time subscription and I'm not ever reading it again. Trump said, it's really hard to get prices down once they go up. Really hard. Yeah, duh. I mean, those of us who read and are smart know that he was lying. And I hope the rest of you know now that he's backing off on lowering prices. How do you like it? Get ready, because it's going to be a lot of you guys taking it up the shorts in the next 2 years. So, yeah, farmers are hurting, and there are a lot of reasons. Now, here's a soundbite from Johnson. I'll go ahead.
And working around the clock to get the CR done. It was intended to be, and it was until recent days, a very simple, very clean CR, stopgap funding measure to get us into next year when we have unified government under the Republican Party. But a couple of intervening things have occurred. We had, as we say, as we describe them, acts of God. We had these massive hurricanes, as you know, in the late fall, Helene and Milton and other disasters. We have to make sure that the Americans that were devastated by these hurricanes get the relief they need. So we are adding to this a disaster relief package, and that's critically important. Also important is the devastation that is being faced by our farming community. The agriculture sector has really struggled. They've had effectively 3 lost years, and commodity prices are a bit of a mess, and you've got input costs that are skyrocketed because of Bidenomics. You put all those factors together, droughts and all the other conditions, and you have a lot of small family farms and ranches and people who supply the food for the country in dire straits right now. And so Congress recognizes that need, and so we've had to add a little bit to that as well. So what would have been a very skinny, very simple, clean CR has been these other pieces have been added to it, and a couple of things that are related to all that.
All right, you notice there, he blamed Biden. He blamed Biden economic policies. Here's why he's doing that, and it's a lie, okay? It may not be a lie, but it's misinformation. They're criticizing the Inflation Reduction Act and the environmental requirements that were put in the Inflation Reduction Act because Biden cares about our earth, and we all should. And they work with farmers to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And I know I'm getting way into the weeds here, but let me just explain this. So that's what that little snarky comment about Biden is about. But here's the thing. According to the Farm Bureau, I read up, the farmers support a lot of those programs. Here's why. They're getting money to help them transition away from carbon producing ways to produce food into more streamlined, efficient ways. And they support that. They want to do that. They need the money to do that. So what some Republicans are proposing is just gut the Inflation Reduction Act requirements and just give that money to farmers. So why are prices so high, you're saying? It's not the farmers who are getting rich. We're all paying out the nose. And there's an answer. There's an answer. It's the middleman. It's the people who distribute the food, that store the food, that take the food from one place to the other. And that is run by very few people. And are they gouging us? Yes. Yes. Just like Kamala Harris said, just like everybody says, well, it's more complicated than that. No, it isn't. It isn't more complicated than that. So, we don't have a budget. And I'll be posting video shorts this coming week, the next 3 days, till Friday, on this. And I'm going to move on. All right, in other political news, guns, murder, and lawmakers' inability to pass any sort of gun control legislation, or to help us at all with the high cost of medical care. First, I'll start with the alleged killer of that health insurance CEO, Brian Thompson. Luigi Mangione, the suspect in that case, was indicted by a New York grand jury, it's official, on murder charges. He's 26 years old. He's been charged officially 1 count of murder in the first degree and 2 counts of murder in the second degree. He's also charged on weapons charges and other things. And then the other shooting, mass shooting, happened in Madison, Wisconsin at a religious school, and shockingly, it was a 15-year-old girl. Police, quote, say that that girl killed a teacher, a student, and wounded 6 others before dying of suicide. And she did leave a manifesto. Police identified Natalie Rupnow, who also went by the name Samantha, as the shooter, and they are reviewing her writings now. Apparently she hadn't been at the school that long, I want to say a year, or not very long, don't quote me on the year. I scanned over that part of the information, but there are numerous stories about her home life. She'd had a rough home life, that her parents had been through multiple divorces, and there is on her social media site that she now identifies as a he, him, rather than a she. She was born on her records as a girl. And that's another thing, all the hate and vitriol surrounding these issues in this country. We've just become so hateful. That's just the only words I have. Hateful. Like, why would you even say in any way ever that it was good that the CEO was shot in the back? All right. So Trump, I posted some of Trump's sound bites from his press conference at his country club. And in that, he was asked about the NBC lawsuit, which just makes me sick. ABC, which is owned by Disney Corporation, paid Trump off. Paid him off. Here's what Trump had to say.
It's coming on.
I want to expand on the defamation lawsuits. Could you see moving that to other people with individual platforms, social media influencers, people that...
Or newspapers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do. I think you have to do it because they're very dishonest. We need a great media. We need a fair media. And you need a fair press. And the press is, no, I see others. I have a few others that I'm doing. I'm going to, as an example, I'm doing this not because I want to. I'm doing this because I feel I have an obligation to. I'm going to be bringing one against the people in Iowa, their newspaper, which had a very, very good pollster who got me right all the time. And then just before the election, she said I was going to lose by 3 or 4 points, and it became the biggest story all over the world because I was going to win Iowa by 20 points. The farmers loved me, and I loved the farmers. And it was interesting the way she did it. She brought it down 2 weeks before. She said I was going to only win by 4. That was a big story. But that was good because she brought it down from like 22 points to 4 or whatever the number was. Way up, an easy win. We never even thought to go there. I respect them. I love them. And they understand there's no reason to go there because she brought it from way up, walk away, which it was. And it turned out to be in the election, too, by the way. It was a win by many, many points. And then she brought it down very smartly to 4, couple of weeks before, and everyone said, wow, that's amazing. He's only up by 4 points. Then she brought it down to where I was down by 3 or 4, whatever number she used. And that was the Des Moines Register, and it was their parent. And in my opinion, it was fraud, and it was election interference. You know, she's gotten me right always. She's a very good pollster. She knows what she was doing. And she then quit before. And we'll probably be filing a major lawsuit against them today or tomorrow. We're filing one on 60 Minutes, you know about that, where they took Kamala's answer, which was a crazy answer, a horrible answer, and they took the whole answer out and they replaced it with something else she said later on in the interview, which wasn't a great answer, but it wasn't like the first one. The first was grossly incompetent. It was weird. And that was fraud and election interference by their news magazine, a big part of CBS News. So as you know, we're involved in that one. We're involved in one which has been going on for a while and very successfully against Bob Woodward, where he didn't quote me properly from the tapes. And then on top of everything else, he sold the tapes, which he wasn't allowed to do. He could only use them for reporting purposes, not for sale purposes. And he admits that. And I think we'll be successful on that one. And we have one very interestingly on Pulitzer, because reporters at the New York Times, Washington Post got Pulitzer Prizes for their wonderful, accurate, and highly professional reporting on the Russia hoax. Well, it turned out to be a hoax, and they were exactly wrong. People, like many people, John Solomon, Sean Hannity's not for Pulitzer, but Sean Hannity got it right. Many people got it right. Tucker got it right. Jesse got it right. Laura got it right. Janine got it right. A lot of people got it right. They didn't get anything. They gave it to reporters that got it absolutely wrong. And now everybody admits it was a hoax. And I want them to take back the Pulitzer Prizes and pay big damages. And I think we're doing very well on that one. They have no excuse for it. They gave a Pulitzer Prize to writers that got Russia wrong. And so I think we're doing well. And I feel I have to do this. I shouldn't really be the one to do it. It should have been Justice Department or somebody else, but I have to do it. It costs a lot of money to do it, but we have to straighten out the press. Our press is very corrupt, almost as corrupt as our elections.
Are you worried?
You know, he loves to sue people, and even when he loses. And the reason that I say it makes me sick is, here's why. Trump is a public figure. Trump is a politician. Stephanopoulos, in order to be found liable for what happened, had to have been acting with malice. And clearly he wasn't. And clearly here's the issue. It's the whole, he was charged with, or he was accused of rape, but the jury found that he wasn't guilty of rape, but they did find that he was guilty of sexual assault, and Stephanopoulos misspoke. But it doesn't change the fact that E. Jean Carroll was violated, and that he did try to penetrate her, but she couldn't remember, and she truthfully said, you know, he bashed her head against the wall when he was attacking her, and I can say allegedly, but he's been found guilty of that, so that charge was changed to sexual assault, not penetration, not rape. And so, because Trump is a public figure, because there was no malice, Disney Corp, which has lawyers oozing out of Mickey Mouse's butt, could have easily fought this. And they just rolled over like the slimy chicken shits they are. And you know, I'm just going through everything and like canceling subscriptions left and right. I have Disney stock. I've always been so proud of my Disney stock that I bought when I was really a young reporter working for Disney, working for ABC in Fresno. Yeah, they're chicken shits to do it. And it's just another example of how Trump is destroying the media and journalism. Okay, not just the media, but journalism. And so he promised he's going to sue more people. So today, quote, President-elect Donald Trump sued the Des Moines Register and its parent company, Gannett Corporation. I also worked for Gannett. I worked for Gannett. Gannett bought the television station that I was working at. Now, I liked working for Gannett, even though they were like McPaper, you know, they ran USA Today. But I liked everybody. Yeah, oh, that was before Gannett like started ruining stations all over the country. But so they're suing Gannett, and I have no hope for Disney now. I have zero hope for Gannett. And this is about that poll. The poll with the woman that we all, Ann Seltzer, that we all just said, oh my God, Ann Seltzer says Trump's going to lose. You know, and it was like, we had hope. We had hope for a split second because Ann Seltzer's fairly, you know, accurate in her polling. You know, I don't believe in polls, and I always say that. But Trump wound up winning in Iowa by 13 percentage points. He's suing. Now, the lawsuit says the egregious polling in favor of Democrats, you know, it's like, what? You're suing for this? But he's a suer. He likes to sue. Ooh. He's very litigious. He likes to sue. All right, and the other podcast that I'm going to be doing a longer version of, and I pulled all of these pictures and all of this information, is that Robert Kennedy Jr. Yes, I'm filled with bile and disgust for these people. Trump's picked to be health secretary. I'm almost like breaking out in hives. You know, he has kind of denied that he wants to get rid of the polio vaccine, but his lawyer, meantime, has filed papers, legal documents, to stop the Food and Drug Administration from distributing the polio vaccine. Now, it's Kennedy's lawyer. He's his buddy. They're friends. They're in cahoots. And they file that, but he's going around saying, oh, no, I just want to study. Why? Why study something that works, for God's sakes? Why F with this when we don't have to worry about polio anymore? It's so dumb. Like, all of the things that they are doing are dumb. And I just keep thinking, because when I read all the volumes that I read about the Trump and the money and all of the dirty money and the payoffs and stuff, for instance, I mean, I'm not speaking, you know, with no basis, you know, Trump opening hotels in Saudi Arabia. And, yeah. I think a lot of this outrage that we're feeling is just a smokescreen so that we don't know what else is going on over here. And more important than ever, we've got to, A, share the information about the little things that are happening that get on our nerves, like him suing the Des Moines Register for a poll, and the Kennedy thing, because we can't just let this go. And I'm reading on social media, people are beat up, they're tired, get over it! Get over it, get over yourself, and start posting your content that shines the light on this stuff. So, here's what Trump said at his press conference about Kennedy.
I think you're going to find that Bobby is a very rational guy. I found him to be very rational. No, nothing, you're not going to lose the polio vaccine. That's not going to happen. I saw what happened with the polio. I have friends that were very much affected by that. I have friends from many years ago, and they have, obviously, they're still in not such good shape because of it. You know, and many people died. And the moment they took that vaccine, it ended. Dr. Jonas Salk did a great job, so I don't anticipate that at all. But we're going to look into finding why is the autism rate so much higher than it was 20, 25, 30 years ago. I mean, it's like It's 100 times higher. There's something wrong, and we're going to try finding that.
So Kennedy was on Capitol Hill. I mean, so Trump supports the polio vaccine. So, I don't know. What's he going to do? I don't know. Maybe, if I don't know. Let's just see. We'll see. But it's important to watch this. And there may be a few people who say, well, we don't like vaccines. It's like, well, then don't get them and and educate your kids at home so you're not making my kids, or not, kids that I love, grandkids, relatives. I love everybody, basically, especially all kids. I mean, what's going to happen? I have no faith in Congress. Here's that senator, that pointy-headed senator from Florida, who is, by the way, one of the richest men in Congress.
So I just had a great meeting with Robert Kennedy. I really appreciate his message. As you know, I used to be in the hospital business. I think it's great to have an HH secretary that is going to focus on the health of America, which is the most important thing we ought to do. I think for all of us, what we're thinking about is how do we stay healthy every day. And finally, we're going to have an HH secretary that wakes up every day and says, how do we keep everybody healthy in this country? He's going to have a lot of opportunity to do that. I'm completely supportive of what he wants to accomplish, and I wish him the best of luck.
What do you say about vaccines specifically, sir, especially his claim that it's linked to autism?
So what he wants with vaccines is, which is what I believe in, is transparency. I think we need to know exactly with all vaccines what has been the research and do they work, and what's your risk? Like what you should know even if you're going to go get a vaccine yourself at your age, you can say, okay, so what's my risk of having a problem with that that disease or whatever? And so that's what the government ought to be doing to you.
Yeah. So, reports that I get say, this is from, I think, the New York Times, a review of Kennedy's public comments shows he has consistently expressed views about the polio vaccine that are at odds with the medical consensus that the vaccine is safe. And it's gotten safer and safer as the years have gone on. We don't want to do this to our children. And then someone said, oh, we're just going to have some sick people. We're just going to have some people get sick. It's like, what? Why? Why? Because you're afraid to stand up to a wannabe dictator? I said wannabe. I'm Gloria Moraga. I'm a political woman. Please subscribe. Please follow me. Here, there, everywhere. TikTok. YouTube. This is going to be on YouTube. And I will be posting shorts on what's going on in Congress with this budget and farmers. I'm going to do a longer post on farmers than a longer post on polio. And I've got company. I'm Gloria Moraga, political woman. Please subscribe and be safe.